My name is Miguel and I'm the head chef in Pinxto People Restaurant, which is a Spanish restaurant in the heart of Brighton. We're having 2 floors in the restaurant. In the ground floor you can have more typical rustic Spanish tapas, and in the restaurant floor you can have more sophisticated and elaborated food served in a complete different style and presented in a very original way. Well, today I'm going to be cooking seared red tuna with tomato marmalade and basil runny cheese, which is actually the most favorite dish in the restaurant. It's something very easy, and all the ingredients involved in the recipe are very cheap and very easy to find in anywhere. First thing we're going to do is to cook the marmalade, because it's actually what takes longer. To peel the tomatoes, all we need is to make a cross in the skin in the bottom of the tomatoes, and then we're going to blanch them for not even 1 minute in boiling water. Actually, what's going to help the tomatoes to peel very easy is not having them in the pot with the water for a long time, but passing them into very, very cold water. So that temperature shock is what's going to help us to peel them. As you can see, the skin is coming out of the tomatoes itself without the need of a knife or anything. It's very, very, very simple. We're going to add a little bit of water to avoid the tomatoes to stick into the pan, and then we're going to add sugar. More or less the same amount of sugar that we have of tomato. We're not going to cover the pan, because what we want is all the water of the tomatoes and all the water that we've added to this recipe to evaporate to get a thick, nice marmalade. And while we wait, we're gonna make the cheese, the runny basil cheese. So for this, I have some full fat cheese, and now some basil leaves, fresh ones. To make it runny, because otherwise it would get very, very thick, we're gonna add a bit of milk. Okay, next thing we're gonna do to add to this dish some more color and some more flavor is to make a nice, very green basil oil. For that, we're gonna use basil leaves, but this time I've blanched them in boiling water, exactly the same that I did with the tomatoes. So now I'm gonna just remove, by pressing it, the water that they have, and we're just gonna add some extra virgin olive oil. This is actually a very, very nice oil that you can use to dress salads, to mix with meats, fish, with whatever you like. That's it. The reason why we've blanched the basil leaves is because otherwise the basil will get oxidized very, very, very quickly, and instead of having a nice green color oil, it will get very dark and brown, black. And what we're gonna do now is to pass it through a sieve to remove all the little bits that are staying in the oil, that even if we blanch it, they're gonna get black with the passing of time. So I think we're ready now to finish with the tomato. This tomato marmalade is something that I brought with me from Spain, and that was a dish that my grandma was doing every month in very, very large amounts for us to have at home. And me and my brothers, we loved it. We loved it. So I thought I have to do something with this tomato marmalade in the restaurant. Perfect. Once we've removed the tomato marmalade from the pot or the pan, what we're gonna do is use these stems of the tomato and we're gonna simmer them in the tomato marmalade. And that's gonna give us all the flavor into the tomato marmalade. And now we're ready to finish the dish. We have here some tuna. We don't want the tuna to be cooked all the way through, but just sear in the outside. And we want to keep this red nice color in the inside. So for that we're going to wait until the pan is very, very, very hot, and just with a little drops of oil and no salt at all. Otherwise the fish is going to release a lot of water, and we don't want that to happen. And as you can see, the tuna is perfectly seared in the outside, but it's still very red in the inside. And that's exactly the point of cooking we want to achieve. And all we need now is salt. That's it for you to enjoy at home. Lovely, delicious seared red tuna with tomato marmalade and basil runny cheese. Thank you.